There it is. Oh, look, I had a countdown and everything.
Except right at the end, it said Christmas show title, and I was very confused.
I'm guessing I didn't edit the full clip.
But I love the music. That actually was very evocative of Babylon, as it turns out, which is handy because we will be talking about that one later.
We will be. So it is the weekend of the 95th Academy Awards, and we, as cinephiles and movie lovers, are excited to see what goes on this year. But at the same time as we're excited to see what they choose, we decided to go about ourselves and choose our winners from the list of nominees that are out in the world. So this is our pre-Oscar live stream, our Poskers, if you will.
I have an added thing that I would like to say. So we are basically giving our predictions, right, when we do this Oscar live stream. And I have decided that whatever we get wrong, so for every category that we get incorrectly from the 11 or so that we've chosen from the big chunk, I will donate $10 to a charity. And I haven't decided which one yet, but I'm just going to do it because I feel like why not? So there we go. So we will.
I will see your $10. That's it.
Go.
I will see your $10.
That's fair.
I will match your $10. So we
so,
for every prediction that we get wrong,
yeah,
out of the 12 or whatever that we have guessed on, we'll give $20 to a charity, which we will decide on later.
And if we are really brilliant and don't get anything wrong, I'll just donate $100.
Yeah, we'll donate a flat amount to something. So either way, we're donating money.
Yep.
But this is really just for the fun of it, and we want to see how smart we are. So we have our list of nominees. We have a list of winners. We have special guests. We have things that we gotta get to, and we don't want to keep everybody waiting.
No,
around.
I mean that would be boring.
I don't know where we are going. Oh yeah. So, for everybody just tuning in now, welcome to the Poskers, the Pop Cult pre-Oscar live stream. I don't know why. I like the word Poskers. Kind of sounds like we're posers.
Yeah.
Oscars. Like
we kind of are, right?
We don't really know what we're talking about. We're good, but we're gonna do our own predictions anyway. We all have drinks. So
we are not in the jury. We should be.
We should be. We hope you all have drinks because we are drinking. Because I would like everybody to know that February is over.
Yeah.
So we are allowed to drink on our recordings and our live streams again.
Yeah. Woohoo! And it just seems appropriate to have champagne for me tonight.
And we have little Oscars to give away today. I will be accepting the awards for all of the winners, seeing as they won't be here to accept the awards themselves.
But we'd really like it if they decided to come and get them. I mean, Danielle Allard came and collected her little itty bitty trophy for her, Creator of the Year award that we gave her for 2022. So,
she did, and everybody else that I've talked to, I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but they all would like their tiny little trophies as well. So
maybe one of the winners that we picked tonight would like to come visit.
If the winners want their tiny little Oscar, I will mock up a little thing for whatever they won, and I will find a way to get it to them.
I would even fly back to Ottawa for that, because some of the people that we're giving awards to tonight are amazing, and we are really excited about some of the choices that have been made for the Oscars this year. So basically, what we're doing is we're taking the nominations and we are choosing our winners from that, except for the extra categories that we just decided to make up because there are things.
Yes, that is right. We've made up categories ourselves because there's a few categories that aren't recognized by the Academy that we think they should be. We have a bunch more that we want to add to, but again, we don't want to make our Oscars 4 hours long like the real Oscars.
Oh, we're going to be nicer.
We're going to be quicker than that. And we're going to get it started.
Yes!
And we are going to give away our Oscar for Best Animated Feature.
Ooh.
And the nominees for Best Animated Feature are Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which is produced by Guillermo del Toro, Mark Gustafson, Gary Ungard, and Alec Buckley. Next nominee is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, with Dean Fleischer Camp, Elizabeth Horn, Andrew Goldman, Caroline Kaplan, and Paul Mezzi. We have Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, Joel Crawford and Mark Swift. The Sea Beast, Chris Williams and Jed Schlanger.
Yeah, Schlanger or Schlanger. Yeah.
And Turning Red, Domi Shi and Lindsay Collins. And I don't have a drum roll sound effect.
That's why you just do it on your computer.
If my co-host would like to announce the winner of Best Animated Feature of 2022.
The winner we have chosen is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio for this one. It was such a beautiful creation that we couldn't help but think that it deserved to get the award for this. It was a beautiful reimagining. And of course, it also came up against 2 other Pinocchios that came out this year, which were terrible.
No, we don't talk about those Pinocchios.
No, we're not. They did not get nominated for reasons.
No, but Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is an amazing story set against an amazing backdrop of the symbolism and everything between the two. I mean, it's not your Disney's Pinocchio.
It's not the original story. No, it's been set in more modern times during World War II. But the translation of in time was beautifully done, and the animation is stellar. And there is no doubt that you are watching a Guillermo del Toro film at certain points, with the blue fairy and such.
Yeah, with the weird creatures and the oddities and everything. So that is our choice, our prediction, our pick for animated feature. Next, we'll go from animated to international.
Ooh, okay. So in this case, I will read out the films if you like.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the international movies that have been nominated this year are All Quiet on the Western Front, coming out of Germany. We have Argentina 1985, no big surprise, coming out of Argentina. Close from Belgium. EO from Poland. And then The Quiet Girl from Ireland. And, drum roll, we have chosen
The Quiet Girl from Ireland.
Yeah. This one is, and all of the films were very interesting to watch. I definitely would recommend giving them a view. But the one that at least struck me the most was The Quiet Girl. I absolutely loved the character development in this, the subtle ways that the characters were able to portray really big emotions. And of course, the beautiful setting in Ireland during the 1980s was gorgeously done. So it was altogether really evocative of a certain period in time. And I think it's also absolutely wonderful that it was done in the Irish language. So that's not something that has been done very often, of course. And so it was really lovely to see that coming through. So yeah, that's our favorite from that category.
Indeed. I mean, as you said, lots of strong competitors in that, but that was the one that I think evoked the most emotion and everything, which is what a movie should do. Now, coming to the stage to help us give away our award for Best Supporting Actor and Actress. You may know her from our comments section. We are bringing in, welcome to the stream, Ashley.
Yay!
Oh, should have kept the shades on. That was a brilliant look. I enjoyed it.
No, just keep those. Perfect. Oh, we can't hear you, Ash. You'll need to turn on your microphone.
Sorry.
There we go.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay. So, hi, everybody. I've got Best Supporting Actor. And first off, you want me to just go right in and
Yeah,
go for it?
just go for
We
it.
got Angela Bassett for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, which I didn't see, unfortunately. We have Hong Chow for The Whale, and Carrie Con for Banshees of Inisherin. Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is my favorite for this Oscar year. And Stephanie Hsu also for Everywhere All at Once. Very exciting. Got my little envelope here.
Drum roll.
Because our guest came better prepared than we did.
I did. And we have Stephanie Hsu.
Oh,
Yay, Stephanie.
I was gonna bring glitter to throw in the air, but because they don't do that at the Oscars, so
that would be wicked. Somebody's walking up on stage, just a glitter bomb.
I mean, it would be really appropriate for Stephanie Hsu to do that. I mean, considering her character, you know, that would be. We chose her because of how much emotion her character expressed, and how much her character drove the action within the film in its entirety. So with that Everything Everywhere All at Once would not have been the same without her portrayal. And so we thought that she was the best fit. But all of the people that are in this category are absolutely fantastic. Like these films, every single one of those films is really well done, and each of those actresses was phenomenal.
I feel this was my hardest category to pick.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Absolutely.
And a couple of people.
Like I said, I didn't see Black Panther, but I mean Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett
nailed it.
Yeah, she's just incredible. I really hope that one day she gets like one of those like lifetime, well, she should get an Oscar at some point. But I would love to see her get one of those lifetime achievement kind of awards, because she's brilliant. So yeah,
seems overdue actually. Now that you mention it,
indeed, I completely agree. All right, so shall we move on to Best Supporting Actor?
We shall. So Best Supporting Actor, we have Brendan Gleeson for Banshees, and Brian Henry for Causeway, Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans, Barry Keoghan for Banshees as well, and Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
And the winner is
there.
We have Ke Huy Quan,
who has definitely one of the best return to Hollywood situations I have ever seen.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how many times they've seen him in movies, right? And some people have their due. It's coming. They've been doing things for years, and people just didn't realize it, right?
Yeah, no, I really do truly hope that he gets it tonight. Although I will certainly happily accept if either of the guys from Banshees also gets it. They were also phenomenal. So
that's true.
Happen. But our pick is Ke Huy Quan, for sure.
Well, thank you, Ashley.
Yes,
for coming on
welcome.
and helping us give out our Best Supporting
Thanks for
Actor
having me.
awards. It was grand.
Thank you.
We are going to move on. So thank you, and stick around if you want for the conversations at the end. Talk to you then.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Okay. So once again, thank you, Ashley. I mean, this is something that we wanted to try, bring on. I mean, the Academy Awards, it's not just the hosts that sit there and give away all the awards. We have celebrities come up and do what they do and help out and give away the awards. We wanted to try the same thing. I'm having fun.
And certainly we don't, have the previous award winners in our apartments. Although
no, that is true.
So, we will happily substitute our friends instead. That's okay. And we think they're equally attractive. So,
Moving on.
Next
we will go to how about Best Cinematography.
Oh, okay. So this one was an interesting category to choose from because, of course, a lot of the films that were on here were not nominated in a bunch of other categories, kind of deal. there was a couple that had shown up in some other spots, but some of them were not. Nonetheless, we have managed to sort of discern who we think should win this. So I will announce, I guess, no, wait, no, it's yours. It's my turn to announce the winner. So you get
Okay.
to
For best cinematography, we have James Friend for All Quiet on the Western Front.
Mhm.
We have Darius Kanji for Bardot, False Chronicles of a Handful of Truth.
Mm-hmm.
We have Mandy Walker for Elvis. We have Roger Deakins for Empire of Light. And we have Florian Hofmeister for Tar.
Mm-hmm.
And our Oscar for best cinematography goes to
All Quiet on the Western Front from James Friend. So I cannot even begin to describe to you how I'm going to say beautifully, but oh Jesus, like it's really hard.
It's hard to express war being beautiful.
You know, not World War I trench fighting, not gorgeous, but the way that this was all arranged was stellar. So we can't help it. I have to give an honorable mention here to Bardot, False Chronicles of a Handful of Truths, because the creativity that was involved in the settings for that particular film is stupendous. So, you know, it is worth something, but the recreation of the trench warfare for in All Quiet on the Western Front just pushed it right over the edge for me. We had to give it to that.
Yeah, I don't. All these movies were so vastly different looking.
Yeah,
which is fantastic for a category like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be as different as they are. I mean, a lot of movies can fall under that same palette and get nominated, and you basically feel like you're just looking at the same stylistic choices and stuff like that. So it was nice to see the variety in what was nominated this year in cinematography. And congratulations, James Friend. I will be accepting your Oscar on your behalf.
Yeah. For me, though, of course, cinematography always requires vistas. And I found that the films that were submitted here weren't like things like Elvis and Tar. While they are both brilliant films, I didn't really get the impression in that way. So it wasn't these sort of vast spaces in which the movie was filmed. So there was a couple in Tar that were really well done, but less so. I really feel that landscape is a necessary contribution to cinematography.
I mean, we're no experts, but cinematography is basically being a director. It's the use of light and contrast and vistas and angles and everything. And so when I think of cinematography, much like yourself, I think of, because I'm vastly uneducated, but I do think of landscapes, vistas, color palettes, everything.
But it's viewpoints, right? Like this is the how the like what is in your visual frame and how that is composed. So anyway, we chose what we chose, and I think we'll have to see what they do.
Certainly. Do we bring another guest up on stage?
We certainly can. It's up to you.
Well, then how about we play a little music?
Okay. Oh, sounds like a good
we will welcoming to the stage. Again, you may know her from our comment section, from our fundraisers, from helping out in the podcast whenever she can. I see that she's just ran back to her seat, so she is available to come on now. Welcome to the stream, Erin.
Yay!
Thank you. Okay, so I was invited to announce Best Original Score, and the nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front by Volker Bertelmann, Babylon, Justin Hurwitz, The Banshees of Inisherin, Carter Burwell, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Son Looks, and The Fablemans, John Williams. And the winner for the Best Original Score is Justin Hurwitz for Babylon.
Wait, Karen, did you just give an ooh as if you didn't know? Because we made these picks.
I like okay, my memory is terrible. Sometimes I'm surprised.
It's like you reacted to that like you weren't aware of the announcement.
And you were pleased that they made the right choice.
You're like,
I
"Oh,
know. they absolutely chose in line with how I would choose because I chose it. So I have to say that the Babylon score was phenomenal. That was I wasn't really like chuffed with the film in its entirety. I felt it was a little bit indulgent and such, but the score stuck with me immediately. It was just like kind of going in my head, and yeah, it's the music in it is wonderful. So it's worth it almost just for that alone, really.
Yeah, out of all the movies that we talked about or that were on the nomination list,
Yeah.
we loved most of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Banshees, Everything Everywhere, The Fablemans, all great movies.
Yes.
But none. Banshees would be probably the honorable mention for me here.
Mm-hmm.
But none of the movies, when the movie was done, were we drawn back into the music of it? Did we remember the music later on? Whereas Babylon, as you and me discussed, it was the one where afterwards you were like, that was like great. Like, that was great music.
Yeah, I would actually download that or like get that score and listen to it on purpose. Because it's just, it's jaunty and exciting and yeah, it was awesome. So
now, is that could we be sticking more on the music for that movie because we were less entranced by the movie itself?
No, there were the parts of the film that had the best music were actually also the best parts of the film in general. Like the I would say like the first half of that film is amazing. And then it becomes something else, and I didn't really like where it went. And it truly, my main criticism of the film has nothing to do with the plot. It really is the fact that it's not true stories. I would have preferred that, but that's a separate issue. I do honestly think that the music does stand out entirely, but it wasn't only because it's the only good thing. There was lots of other good stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the score. Like of scores. I have like full DVDs of not the songs of movies, but the actual score of movies. And the only thing that I felt was missing for me personally this year was those big epics like a Gladiator or Lord of the Rings, where you get more of the sweeping, big orchestral scores and stuff like that. Which that's no fault of any of the movies that have been nominated and our winner. It was just, most of the movies that I think about on the list here, I was more entranced by dialogue and story and everything than the music that carried it through. Whereas those big epics have these lengthy, quiet moments where the only thing bringing you from one place to the other is the score.
Yeah.
Where most of these movies were dialogue and whatever based. So it was so anyway, this was a fairly hard category to choose through too. Anyway, I was babbling. We'll move on.
I just wanted to say, I've always thought of score, like the original score. I had a music teacher once, and he said, if you turn the soundtrack to a movie off and it completely changes the tone of the movie, then the score has a massive impact on you and on the movie. And I think that I wholeheartedly agree with you about Babylon. Like, the dialogue alone would not have been enough to make that a memorable movie, but absolutely with the score, it definitely changes it.
You take the music from in behind Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson having a conversation, I'm still fully into that conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And the story for Everything Everywhere All at Once is completely immersive. Yeah. The Fablemans also. It is all about the stories there. And All Quiet on the Western Front, there's too many explosions to even try to keep track of the score. So yeah, it is. Yeah, I think that the standout here is Babylon for sure.
So I was also invited to announce Best Song. And I was thinking about it, and I realized that a lot of my favorite memories from Oscars come from the musical numbers that have ensued because of the Best Song nominees. I mean, Robin Williams.
By the way, we don't have copyrights to any of the songs, which is why we can't play all of the songs as the Oscars do.
Yeah.
Sorry to our listeners. We're poor. We can't afford lawsuits.
Yeah. So Robin Williams, Blaming Canada. Colin Farrell announcing Bono was one of my favorite Oscar memories of all times, as they spoke to each other in Gaelic, and I just sat mesmerized. It was, yes, exactly. So I think I was very excited to be able to announce that. So the nominees for Best Song: Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, music and lyrics by Diane Warren. Hold My Hand from Top Gun, music and lyric by Lady Gaga and Blood Pop. Lift Me Up from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, music by Thames, Rihanna, Ryan Coogler, and Ludwig Göransson, lyrics by Thames and Ryan Coogler. Natu Natu from RRR, Triple R, music by MM, and I'm going to butcher his last name, I'm so sorry. There you go. Lyric by Chandra Bossi. And This Is Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once, music by Ryan Lott, David Brin, and Mitski. Lyrics by Ryan Lott and David Burnick.
Burn.
Burn?
Burn. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And the winner is Natu Natu from RRR.
Because could it be anything else?
No, really. Like it can't.
No.
Just if it is anything else, I will say angry words on Twitter.
Because honestly, there is not another song on this list that has over 1,000 reaction videos to the song and dance portion of a movie like Natu Natu has for RRR. Because I know, because I've watched most of them, because it's hilarious to see other people who aren't used to Bollywood filmmaking and that culture and everything watch what happens in that dance number, in that dance sequence with the Desi Notch dance and everything. It is a brilliant, unexpected, and amazing moment in
and
an
fun.
otherwise.
It's so fun.
So fun. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, the first time I watched that film, the film was amazing for a million reasons. But when I was watching it and that sequence came up, I immediately messaged Tyler and being like, movies that have song and dance numbers are the best things ever. It was just perfect. It was absolutely, and I listened to that song all the time. And I actually submitted that. I do this music song submission competition, Music League, and I submitted that one recently, and it got a lot of love from the people that I sent it into. So yeah.
Well, and it made its way into the mainstream in a way that was so unexpected. Like, I have 2 young daughters. They know the song. No idea about the movie, no idea about anything, but it's on TikTok and it's on Snapchat, and they know the song and they know the dance, and so
that's wicked. I'm really glad to hear that. I don't tend to spend much time on TikTok, so I wasn't aware that it had kind of made its way into that, and that's great to hear. That's really awesome.
Yes. And that's it for me. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Ren, for coming up and giving the nominations and the winners. Again, look, I'm accepting the award on behalf of all of our winners in the music categories,
which are incredibly important to your experience of a film. So
yes,
they make the movie in some cases. And sometimes
well, thank you, Aaron. We will talk to you in a bit.
Okay.
Okay. Where are we going? What are we doing? I think we only have one more before we get into the big ones after we bring on after our other guest joins us on stage here, on stream here, whatever you want to say. Best original screenplay.
This was a toughie.
This one was also very tough. This one was a lot of back and forth, a lot of discussion, a lot of not so much arguing, but
no. We had to sit down and provide evidence in this case of why we made the choice that we did, because we really were narrowing it down to 2, and it was really hard to pick between. So now, is it me? I think it's me that's announcing the nominees in this case. So for Best Original Screenplay, we have The Banshees of Inisherin by Martin McDonagh, Everything Everywhere All at Once, written by the Daniels, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, The Fabelmans, written by Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner, Tar, written by Todd Field, and Triangle of Sadness, written by Ruben Östlund.
And after much deliberation, after much back and forth, the winner for Best Original Screenplay of the 2022 Oscars goes to Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes. So this was super tough for us to do because, of course, for us, it was between Everything Everywhere All at Once and The Banshees of Inisherin. In the end, we chose The Banshees because of the allegory that was made there for the Irish Civil War. How they were able to sort of very cleverly write this conflict between two individuals that was meant to represent the conflict of a nation. And I can't, if you haven't seen the film, I can't even begin to describe to you just how well that was done. And it's just beautiful. So we had to choose it. Of course, the dialogue that was in Everything Everywhere All at Once was beautifully done, really super well researched. The Daniel Kwan in particular had actually had decided that the main character had a certain attribute, and in the process of writing it, discovered that he may also have this. And he had done some research on ADHD and has now actually been diagnosed with ADHD himself. So the writing there was also incredibly important, but we felt that the layered aspect of Banshees deserved the extra credit. And did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I mean, when we were talking about this, like, a screenplay involves all parts of writing a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's the expressions, it's the dialogue, it's the scope of it. But for me, Everything Everywhere All at Once was such an extravaganza in all aspects of itself too, that it was hard to, like, I guess, narrow it down like that. Like, it was huge on the directing aspect and the cinematography aspect and the music and the special effects and the choreography and everything. It was like a whole, whereas narrowed down into a smaller scope, where when I looked at the screenplay, the reason I was pushing for Banshees so much was basically straight for the script elements of it. Yes. And just the dialogue and everything that they did, as you just iterated with the comparison, or not the comparison, but the
allegory. Yeah.
The allegory for the Irish Civil War and stuff like that. It was just the conversations that were had, the dialogue between characters and everything, just because it was such a quiet film, and that's all it was the conversations and the dialogue and the characters and the development and the allegory and everything. It took it for me, because I wasn't also distracted and amused and everything by the shiny Everything Everywhere, which was where our divide came in this category.
Yeah.
That doesn't say anything negative, like Triangle, Sadness, Tar, and Fablemans, also expertly written.
Yes.
Movies.
Yeah.
Just the Banshees, after I finished watching it, I thought about some of the conversations they had. Mm-hmm. I thought about some of the dialogue. I quoted in small little snippets of it and stuff like that. And that's, I think, why it stuck with me so much. It was oddly, for me, the most quotable.
Okay.
It just had these little moments where you're like, ah. But anyway, so that's best original screenplay goes to Martin McDonagh for Banshees of Inisherin. So before we get on to our big two, which of course we had to say for ourselves,
mm-hmm.
we have the other big two, which are Best Actor and Actress. And coming to the stream now to give away these awards to the much deserving actors and actresses in this category is friend of the show, friend of the podcast, all around lovely girl. It is Dana.
Guys.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell a joke, but I don't have writers, so I'm just gonna get into it.
Yeah, that's one thing our posters are missing. Actual writers that write hilarious bits of dialogue for us.
Yeah, we don't have those either. We have to rely on our own selves, and sometimes that is lackluster. But I think today we can be at least mildly amusing.
Always amusing.
Please, we turn it over to you in this case. We have some. Who do you want to start with? Best actor or best actor?
Yes, who am I starting with?
Whichever one you want.
All right, well, I'm going to start with Best Actor.
Okay.
Okay. The nominees are, and I don't have a teleprompter, so I'm looking down. Sorry.
This is fine.
Okay. Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell, Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser, The Whale, Paul Mescal, After Sun, and Bill Nye, Living.
Winner.
And
Oscar goes to-
the Oscar goes to Brendan Fraser for The Whale.
And she used Oscar because she's been listening.
I did. I used Oscar.
Well done. Yeah, there was simply in the end. Actually, Tyler wasn't sure his original pick.
Now, my original pick will be explained later.
Oh yeah.
Because in one of our made-up categories, which we feel should be a category, my original pick for this kind of moves into that category. Also, when I originally made my first pick, I hadn't seen The Whale yet. And I was very stuck on my first pick until I saw The Whale. And then I had a conversation with myself, and that's never a good thing. And I changed my mind a little bit because my co-host talked me around. Two, as soon as I saw Brendan Fraser's portrayal of his character in The Whale, is a fairly easy decision.
Yeah, he's brilliant in this.
Also because he commands that movie. It is his movie, which is one of the reasons why my original pick, which we'll get onto later, maybe didn't fit the bill quite as strongly as Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
So
no, he was absolutely stellar, and yeah, I understand why he had gotten all the love that he had when the movie was first sort of coming out and getting some attention by critics and things like that. It was immediately apparent as to why. So kudos to him.
I haven't seen it, but I heard that he's just stellar.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I highly recommend it. Not an easy film to watch. But it is really well done, and I absolutely love the way that the story progresses in the film as well. It is really beautifully written. So I hope you enjoy. All right, so now we have our best actor. Who is our best actress? Who are the nominees?
Okay, the nominees for best actress are Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas, Blonde, Andrea Riseborough to Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And the Oscar goes to...
We need Jamie Lee Curtis here for this.
Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I love her so much. We couldn't pick anybody else.
Me too.
I gotta say that everyone else on this list did an incredible performance. Cate Blanchett in Tar, amazing. Like, it's Cate Blanchett. She's always amazing. Ana de Armas, I have not seen in Blonde because I will not watch it. I just won't. I have an issue with that. We've talked about that on the podcast before. I watched To Leslie, and Andrea Riseborough was fantastic, and Michelle Williams is great in The Fabelmans. Although I do question her being chosen as a lead actress for that particular film, because that really was an ensemble cast project kind of thing. So her role stands out, yes, but I would actually have more put her in a best supporting role as opposed to in a lead. But Michelle Yeoh is absolutely the center of that, of Everything Everywhere.
Not only is she the center of it, she plays numerous different characters in one single movie.
Yes. And is able to her expressions transform to let you know that she's another person, and she's just everything about her in that film is stupendous. Have you seen Everything Everywhere as well? And what do you think of Michelle Yeoh?
I love her. I think she's great. She obviously there were other folks in the movie, but to me she really carried it. So yeah. It was great.
And not the reason why we picked her, but so long overdue for even a nomination for her for
Yeah.
some of her stellar work and other stuff. I mean, she deserves it for this, but I mean, it's almost like too little, too late for somebody of her caliber and some of the roles that she's done. I mean, it's very nice, and they better fucking, I'm gonna swear on the live stream, fucking give it to her. But-
I would expect nothing less.
We won't revolt.
Oh, there's a fear. There's a definite fear.
Oh yeah.
Because if you have the name Blanchett, you are getting an Oscar.
You're just. I mean, and maybe we'll get like a complete surprise. You never know.
We might. And I mean, I have nothing against Cate Blanchett. If she wins an Oscar, she obviously deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little fearful that because she's in here, that the proper winner may be overlooked. In my
I have faith.
opinion.
I have faith that she will pull it out.
I've just been reading the rumor mills and stuff like that, and of course, getting ready for this, I was reading up on the surprises and the snubs for nominations and blah blah blah, and the predicted winners and stuff like that. And this is like a 50-50 draw between what could happen.
Oh goodness.
It's where the experts are kind of calling it split down the middle.
Scary business.
We are not split. We
No,
say that the
we are
Oscar goes to
firmly
Michelle. Has
Yeah.
to.
You guys are correct.
Yes.
we feel that is the truth. I must exit for a moment, and so please feel free to continue conversations, but I will be back in just a second.
Because this is normally what happens during the Oscars.
Yeah.
One of the co-hosts just runs off
don't have
stage.
commercials. We need commercials.
I feel like Anne Hathaway now, and with James Franco just left me hanging high and dry. Anyway, so
Well,
What are
you
your
might
thoughts
still
so
be
far?
high and dry because I have nothing good to add. So
we're gonna have a conversation.
okay.
So, out of what we've discussed so far, what movies have you seen, and do you agree with some of our choices so far?
Well, I would have picked something else for Best Actor, but only because I haven't
Hey.
seen The Whale. So
And who are you going to pick for Best Actor?
Colin Farrell.
See, that was where I was leaning right from the start. But as we will discuss later, there is somewhat of a reason why I managed to get swayed. Not really swayed. It wasn't hard to push me in the other direction. But
I loved Banshees, so that's
I love Banshees too, and I mean it should win as many Oscars as it's nominated for. But there is a category, which we'll discuss later, that we feel should be a part of the Oscars based on what we just talked about with Michelle Williams and everything. And that's most likely where I would have put Colin Farrell. So we'll get to
Gotcha.
that in a short bit.
We will.
My Oscar co-host is back.
Yes,
All
with
right.
champagne.
So, Dana,
Well,
we'll
thank you
allow
guys
you
again for having
Thank
me. I appreciate it. It was
to
fun.
exit stage left,
Bye.
which is really just me pressing this button.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, so big wins for Brendan Fraser and Michelle Yeoh.
Yep.
Both
deserved.
well deserving. I mean,
really
I
hope
think we made the right calls there.
I really hope we get to see them up on stage and hear their acceptance speeches on Monday, because I sadly I don't get to watch the Oscars because it comes on at like 3:00 in the morning my time here in Germany, but I am excited to see the results when they come out.
Now
Yes,
we're on to the big two.
We have the big
What
two.
everybody has been waiting for, not really from us. I mean, in the overall Oscar thing, these are the big two that everybody tunes in for. Of course, there's like 30 more categories that
Of course.
that are going to get handed at the Academy Awards. We don't have that time.
No.
Also, I know
Nor do
nothing
you.
about hair and makeup and effects and documentary short and blah blah blah. Like,
Animated short. There's a million categories, and I certainly recommend, especially with things like the animated shorts, that you explore those when you get the opportunity, because there's some real treasures usually in those lists.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to keep people here for hours.
no, I mean we're already at 45 minutes, and we haven't even gotten to the big two, and then the stuff that we just feel like talking about at the end. But next up, we're going Best Director.
Mm-hmm.
Am I? Yeah, I'm doing this.
Okay.
I am announcing the nominees for Best Director.
All right.
The nominees for Best Director are Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin. We have the Daniels, Daniel Kwan and Danielle Scheinert for Everything Everywhere All at Once. We have Steven Spielberg for The Fablemans. We have Todd Field for Tar, and we have Ruben Östlund
Usland.
for
Yeah.
Triangle. See, why do you make me do this?
You started it. I didn't.
Well, it was
give
my
it
turn. I should have practiced. Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness. And the Oscar for Best Director of the 2023 Pop Cult Pre-Oscar live stream goes to. This is you.
Oh, yeah, this is me. We couldn't help, but we had to give it to the Daniels here. They're for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert are definitely our choice for winners here. I have never seen a film like this, and I can only imagine the amount of coordination that it took for them to create the film that we see.
Best use of the multiverse so far.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, it's been a big year for the multiverse.
There's been a lot.
A lot of multiverse talk, a lot of multiverse movies, a lot of multiverse in television, and this was the best use of the multiverse, of googly eyes, of fucking hot dog fingers, of existential stone rock pebble crises.
The amount of imagery that they managed and symbolism that they managed to incorporate into this film, I have never been so blown away. So yeah, I guess people are probably gonna have a hint now what we're gonna be doing.
I don't know. Do the Oscars ever sway away from this? Because we've had this discussion before. Because if these are the last year, or the year before, might even be all the way back to Parasite year, where Parasite doesn't win Best Picture, but does win Best Director.
No, it did. Didn't it?
It did win Best. Okay, maybe it was the other. I'm all over the page. There was a movie that won, I think, Best Screenplay and like Best Director, but didn't win Best Picture.
And you were
we were kind of curious as to how that happens.
Yeah.
But we will get on to the Best Picture category, and then we'll move on to everything else we want to talk about. But we will reveal the big winner of this year's Oscars. You're reading out the nominees?
Yeah, I will read out the nominees here. There are absolutely some stellar submissions to this list. So the first one, and there's 10.
There's 10. Well, there's 9.
I can't. Nope, there's 10. What are you talking?
Nope, there's 9.
Okay, I can't count, maybe?
No, there's 10. There's one of those that don't fucking belong.
Oh, okay. Yes. And yeah, we will have that discussion later. Now I understand. I was like, oh God, is my math terrible? I'm like 5.
No. I was just being a jackass.
I mean, I have bad math days, so this can happen. Anyway, for the submissions this year for Best Picture for the Academy are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablemans, Tar, Top Gun: Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking.
And the Oscar for Best Picture goes to Avatar: The Way. No, fuck that. No, it goes. I was gonna have a La La Land Moonlight thing or whatever. Anyway, no. The Oscar, of course, goes to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, there was simply no other reasonable choice here. It was one of the best things I have seen come out of the cinema industry in decades. And I remember how excited we were when we saw the trailer for this film. And,
when a trailer grabs you that strongly, where you're like, this is the only movie I care to see this year. And
then we saw it and we're just as blown away. And I have seen it multiple times. And everyone I know who has seen it, except for one person who must be crazy, that thinks it is like the best thing that they've seen. So the emotions that it evokes are incredibly universal and yet also exceptionally personal to the culture that is being discussed in the film. And the imagery is amazing, and the reuniting of people and family and the stories of love. How can you choose anything else? Like, how?
Oh no, it's impossible. The amount of film that film was. I mean, it's a glorious achievement in
Yes.
filmmaking and acting, in special effects, in everything. It's
Every single performance in there is stellar.
it
And
was the one movie that when I came out of the theater, you could hear everybody else leaving the theater talking about the movie.
Yeah.
Most people like just leave the theater, they walk to their cars, they're like, "Oh, that was a good movie." Blah blah. This was like people standing outside the theater having conversations and deep conversations about what they just saw and what they experienced and what they thought was this and why that happened. It drove conversation, which is what I mean. If you can do that as a movie, then you've done something right. Speaking
exactly.
of our excitement when we first saw the trailer,
Mhm.
that now brings me to something that we should do at some point in time, like
Which
on a
is-
year in review episode or whatever.
Mhm.
Like that conversation about trailers done right, the trailers that make you
Ah,
immediately want to
yes.
see a movie versus those trailers that really don't do a movie justice
Yeah. Or do too much.
or do too much. Yeah, the trailer for Everything Everywhere All Once, I think, gave us just enough to pique enormous amounts of interest in the movie, and then the movie itself just hit it out of the park after that.
Yeah, indeed.
So those are the ones that, of course, the Oscars are handing out, plus all of the other ones for hair and makeup and costume design and everything, which we don't really have a say in. But what we do have a say in is a bunch of categories that we feel
Mm-hmm.
may be overlooked. And as much as we don't want the Oscars to be 9 hours long, we do feel that there are some omissions to the nominee or the categories
Yes.
that we could put in here.
And-
Now, we
and
did
in many
have.
cases,
Sorry?
just one thing I just wanted to add here. In many cases, these categories are included in other awards ceremonies. So, for instance, well, I won't bring up the specific ones at the moment, but we see them in the actors in the Guild Awards or in the Choice Awards, depending on which category we're referring to. And I think that they should make a transference from the excuse me, from those awards shows to the big one. I really do. So
Yeah, I mean, if you're already going to make the Oscars 5 hours long, make it 6 hours long. Add in all of the awards, stuff like that. Like we've discussed this in the past, that we know that a lot of the Academy Awards are given away in an untelevised ceremony, basically in the
Yes,
basement of the
a lot of the technical ones, yes.
technical ones, which we feel is probably not fair to them.
No.
One of the ones we didn't have written down here that we thought about is like an award for like choreography, fight choreography, stunt work, stuff like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Which we've also had the director of John Wick jump on board recently, saying that these should be some awards given out and televised, like without the stunt coordinators, without the stunt people, without the choreographers and stuff. A movie like John Wick doesn't exist.
Yeah.
A movie like Star Wars doesn't exist. A movie like Gladiator doesn't exist. Like these big movies that we've all come to love and that have won massive awards, speaking of like Gladiator and stuff, don't exist without the stunt people, the choreographers, and everybody that works in behind the scenes. And we feel they deserve some recognition as well.
Absolutely.
Now, that's on the technical aspect of it, which we don't really deal too much with. But what we do deal with is if you're going to have a movie with an absolutely fantastic dance sequence in it, we feel that should get some recognition.
Yes.
Some of the movies this year that had just out of nowhere dance numbers to it, and our nominees for our special Oscar for Best random dance sequence are RRR,
Mhm.
After Sun,
Mhm.
Don't Worry Darling,
Mhm.
The Woman King, and Morbius.
Which is, funny that
Which is
ended up
funny
on
that's in
the
here
Oscar list
because it's also the
anywhere.
winner of our I didn't think of a name for our Razzies,
Yeah.
but something we will have to do at some point in time is we're going to bring our Razzies into this. But I mean, we spent so much time working on our Oscars one that we didn't have time to work on our Pansies one, whatever we're going to call it.
But in any case, for the nominees that we have this year, the best random dance sequence, definitely, without any shadow of a doubt, goes to RRR.
Oh, it has to.
Come on, that was one of the best things I've seen in a movie ever. So, it was it was a dance competition against the Colonials. It just made it all that much better. It was so perfect. It was just so much fun to watch. And the music, of course, we have already said that we want the song not to win best song. So it was just the perfect thing. And if I could do that dance, I would, but I cannot.
Oh, I want to learn Desi dance so badly.
I bet you could. I'm sure that exists.
And I mean, that song does nothing for that movie without the dance behind it. So if we're going to give the Academy Award to that song, I think visually it needed the dance.
Oh, well,
I think if that song
absolutely
just played in the background of a social engagement scene or something, I mean,
yeah, it would have lost something for not being paired with it would have lost something in the film. Although I really do like listening to the song. Like, it is
it's a great song.
So upbeat and positive and everything. But regardless, the dance sequence, top notch. So
now we have Best Actor.
Mm-hmm.
We have Best Actress.
Mm-hmm.
What we do not have is Best Animal.
And they are so frequently characters in films. And this year definitely no.
This year was the year of the donkey.
Yes.
This year was the year of the multiverse and the donkey. Because 3 out of our 4 nominees for Best Animal Performance this year are donkeys. So we have EO from EO.
Yes.
We have Jenny from Banshees of Inisherin. We have Patrick, the donkey from My Donkey, My Lover, and I. And we have Lulu, which is the dog from Dog.
We forgot to mention the emotional support donkey from Jenny, or for Jenny from Banshees of Inisherin.
That is true. So there's 4 donkeys that could be.
All donkeys need support donkeys or a support horse. They don't do emotionally. They emotionally don't do well without another one. So
as somebody whose mother has many donkeys on her hobby farm,
right,
and horses and stuff, they do. One, they're fantastic animals, pets, quote unquote. Not that I would keep one as a pet, but as like a farm animal and everything. But they are definitely social creatures that need basically a pair bond. A pairing, another
a pair bond.
person.
Yeah. They, and Colin Farrell had a really funny story regarding celebrity. So it was noted that the donkey that got all of the attention on the set for Banshees of Inisherin was Jenny. But of course, she did her things and she did them well. But the other donkey was also equally important and equally cute. So why was he getting, or she getting ignored? Sad.
Because he wasn't Jenny.
Honorable mention to emotional support donkey from Banshees of Inisherin, whose name I do not.
Yeah, can't remember. Now, we started off this entire thing with Best Animated Movie.
No, we still have to give the winner. We didn't
do that. All right, the winner of Best Animal Performance goes to EO from EO.
Yes. Obvious, also a donkey. Not really big surprise considering 3 of the 4 nominees were donkeys. But of course, the entire film, EO, is centered around EO the donkey. And he does.
Whereas like Jenny and Patrick and everybody could have literally been in Best Supporting Animal Performance.
Yeah.
But we weren't going to make that category up.
No. That seemed like going a little far. But yeah. So EO wins for for
best animal
for
performance
best animals
in a
performance.
feature. Now, where I was going with this is we opened up our entire Oscars today with
Mhm.
our best animated feature film.
Yes, we did.
How do you have a best animated feature film if you don't give some recognition to the people? Recognize that that's not even a
That's
fucking
a
word.
whole new word. Okay, yeah.
I like to make up words. How if you don't recognize the everything that goes into making these animated films, including the people who give their voices to the characters.
Yeah, indeed.
So I mean, you don't make a movie without an actor and actress and whatnot. You don't make an animated film without quote unquote actors and actresses and everybody behind there.
Yeah.
So we feel that if you're going to give awards for best animated feature and you're going to give technical awards for best animators and stuff like that, well, how come the voice casting and the voice actors and actresses get left out of award season?
Indeed. So, and of course, this is actually a category that is in some of the, I do believe in the Kids' Choice Award, because of course, animated films are certainly one of the categories that are focused on for children, and vocal performance is one of their categories. So, our nominees for the best voiceover performances are Jenny Slate for Marcel the Shell, David Bradley for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Hugh Laurie in The Amazing Maurice, Gregory Mann in Pinocchio as well, Jack Black for Apollo 10 and a Half, A Space-Age Childhood, Rosalie Chang for Turning Red, and Zaras Angel Hator for Sea Beast.
And the Oscar for best voiceover performance, voice acting performance, however you want to call it, goes to Jenny Slate for Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Yeah. And now I think that we should explain why we chose her, because all of these performances are great. I can't take away from any of them, but what was it about Jenny Slate that made us choose?
We already had this conversation.
We did, but they didn't.
Oh, you want me to do it again for the people listening? Yeah, we were talking about this because, again, this was a big category that we made up. And then when we were thinking about the nominees, we were like, well, this, like, of course, we're putting in all of these nominees. We were definitely people we think should win because we're the ones adding the nominees to this list. But then it came down to the fact that with all of the other nominees, they're playing characters who their performances are helped out, that the characters they play are fully animated, fully realized with facial expression, movement, everything else that helps along with the performance and the character and everything. Whereas Marcel the Shell is, and a lot of these people were basically just playing themselves as animated characters to a point. I mean, you're still doing the voice acting, but it's not so much of a stretch, maybe, for David Bradley to play Geppetto.
Perhaps.
Maybe not. But Jenny Slate was basically playing a shell with limited facial expressions, limited movement.
One eye.
Didn't really do much. No arms to speak of to do hand gestures and whatnot. So the entire character of Marcel the Shell, the build of the character, the development came from her voice, her speech patterns, her everything else that she did for the character. And that's why we chose Jenny Slate.
Yeah.
Seems simple enough.
I
think she put in the most work to get the most out of a character that had limited other resources to portray emotion and intent and body language or anything else. And that's why we went that way. Now, the category that we have screamed from the heavens needed to be added to the Oscars since we started the podcast 4 years ago. We've talked about it each and every year around this time. We're going to talk about it each and every year from now on, unless it fucking gets fixed at some point in time.
And then we will talk about it again and say, fucking finally.
Finally. And that is, we have best actor, we have best actress, we have best supporting actor, we have best supporting actress. What if you have a movie where nobody rightly fits into any of those categories. We've talked about it with Colin Farrell. We talked about it with Michelle Williams, Best Acting nod and stuff like that. We feel that and I can't remember which one, but I'm sure you remember, and we'll state it later, that some award
Screen
do
Actors
this.
Guild. Yes.
Which one?
Actors Guild.
Actors Guild do this, and that is a best ensemble
Yes.
category.
Yes.
Because if you look like at a movie like The Fabelmans, you look at a movie like The Banshees, stuff like that, like everybody is an equal part for the most of those movies.
Yes.
It's the dialogue between characters, it's the interaction with each other and everything else. And in some of these movies, I don't feel that you can pick a lead or supporting. If you look at the nominees for best supporting and stuff like that, if you went back to the Golden Globes and stuff, multiple people from, or I think it was ours. Yeah, multiple people from Banshees were a best supporting actor, best supporting actress, and then we had Colin Farrell with best actor. So all four of the stars of this movie were given individual awards, and we feel that might hamper or hinder their chances of getting one of these awards.
Yeah.
Because they're going up against each other, or it's an oversaturation of this movie in the Academy Awards, stuff like that. Whereas if you made a category for like Banshees, for Fabelmans and stuff like that, where Michelle Williams, great performance, was it a standout solo like lead performance, or was she supporting the rest of the cast as all the other cast does? So we feel that there should be a best ensemble award given at the Academy Awards for these movies, looking into the past, something like The Usual Suspects, or we've talked about other movies in the past that are going to, like
Parasite was one of the ones that we talked
Parasite,
about.
right?
Yes,
a movie that won Best Picture, Best Everything, but not a single acting nod.
Not one of them. And honestly, like they were all incredibly important to how well that film did. So yes. So I guess I will give the nominees for our best ensemble category that we think should be in the Oscars. Our nominees for best ensemble cast are The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Women Talking, and The Woman King.
And
our winner.
Is it me or you?
It's you.
Oh yeah, you just gave away the nominees.
I did.
Now, before I announce the winner, I want to talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once, because we did, in what we just said, give them the Best Actress and Best Supporting Actor and Actress nods. Could have easily fallen into this category as well, because in a movie like that, we did have Michelle, who really stood out, but I feel everybody else could have been in an ensemble category, an ensemble cast category, as they brought equal amounts to the story in support of Michelle Yeoh's character. Also, maybe we just couldn't think of 5 nominees this year. I don't know.
I think that wouldn't have been so hard. In fact, actually, Everything Everywhere won the Screen Actors Guild award for best ensemble cast, and and I completely understand that choice. However,
but that's not who we picked.
No,
we picked the Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes,
because I mean that was Colin Farrell was absolutely fabulous, but Colin Farrell is not as fabulous if he's not having these amazing conversations with Brendan Gleeson, with Carrie Condon, with Barry.
Barry Keoghan and Carrie Condon. Yeah, absolutely. It was the interactions amongst all of the characters in that film that made it as good as it was. So it was no one person, no one actor of the 4 main cast members stood out more than any of the others. It was really well balanced in the amount of screen time that each of them got as well. So there was no way to pick amongst them, and I think that all of them should get recognition for for what they did.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons I got talked out of Colin Farrell for Best Lead Actor and moved over to Brendan Fraser, is because Brendan Fraser led that movie. He was the central figure, whereas I feel Colin Farrell was one cog in a giant, awesome wheel that made Banshee such a great movie.
Yeah, Indeed. But of course I do have to give a nod here to The Woman King and Women Talking. Both of these films, and The Fabelmans as well. All of these films were supported by excellent casts, and the interactions amongst the characters make the film. So, and it wasn't on any one individual. It was really the work of all of them that made them fantastic. So yeah. So now,
do we want to do any more conversation?
Well, I mean, we can.
Have we gone long enough, or do we have a couple more minutes?
I mean, we could save our post, just like the rest of our discussions, for our wrap up episode.
Well, the other thing that we were going to discuss was our snubs.
It's true.
I don't think our snubs needs to be part of our after Oscar podcast, because by that point we're not talking about snubs anymore. By that we're talking about the disappointment of who the Academy, or the yay of who the Academy actually gave the awards to.
So
it's before the Oscars is when you should talk about your snubs, because they're the ones that are completely missing. So if any of our friends who are still waiting in the wings want to come back and talk about the awards that we've given away, and talk about some snubs from some of the categories that we have on this list, they can give me a wave and I will bring them back in, or they can just sit in the background and do nothing.
Not do nothing. They can listen and enjoy and be entertained. Hopefully.
True. Okay, well, I'm just going to bring everybody back on. If they don't want to be here, they can leave themselves.
You poor people. Hello.
So, Ash, can you turn down your volume a little bit?
Maybe.
Yes.
Just make us a whisper.
Is that okay?
There's a lot of reverb and a lot of echo.
Oh, wait. I feel better now. Certainly better. Unfortunately, she is now no longer present by camera or by microphone.
Okay, well, we'll just get on with the conversation. I can still hear myself through her. I'm going to mute her for a second, and she can wave at me if she fixes things. I think she muted herself.
She did.
Well, weirdly, I could still hear the echo. But anyway.
From somebody else. These things happen sometimes. Happens in Zoom meetings all the time.
Anyway, so who disagrees with any of our picks?
I was ready to disagree. I didn't think there was going to be a chance that you would choose Banshees of Inisherin and Colin Farrell. Sorry, not Colin Farrell. Over Everything Everywhere All at Once for script. I was all ready for a fight, and I'm shocked.
Sorry, you think who's echoing?
I think it must be Dana, because she's the only one wearing headphones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it appears it might be Dana at the moment. Obviously, like, if you want to say something, please, unmute yourself.
Yeah, unmute yourself, jump in, or you can just turn down your volume a little bit, which might work.
Yeah.
As long as you can still hear us a little bit, that should be okay.
Yeah.
Whichever you want to try.
But yeah, it's Aaron, I appreciate your comment there, because it was definitely a discussion for that particular
Hold on, before we go any further, can Aaron repeat her discussion piece, because I accidentally and stupidly talked over her because there was noise.
I was just saying that I was ready to fight you guys because I didn't think there was a way you'd choose Everything Everywhere All at Once. I assumed that's what you were going to choose for best screenplay, not Banshees of Inisherin. And I was I was blown away by both, but I absolutely loved the screenplay for Banshees. And I'm just knowing how you two love Everything Everywhere, I assumed you would choose it, and I was ready to be very mad at you, and I was pleasantly surprised that I wasn't.
Luckily, we don't only choose by our hearts.
Well, we do.
You do.
That's true.
It was, our hearts and minds in that particular case. I definitely had to think about it a little bit because, of course, I absolutely love the whole movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, but it isn't. The dialogue is important there, but the dialogue is more important in Banshees, and so it was. It had to be that in the end. There was no doubt.
Now, looking at our list, we don't actually have any snubs from screenplay.
No,
they must have got it right.
Yeah, I think that I certainly wouldn't put anything else more forward for that one. Was there anything? I guess we can take a look at some of the earlier categories. Did anyone feel that there were some actors or actresses that were overlooked for either best supporting or best? Did anybody have a thought there? Because we definitely came up with a couple.
Yeah, we didn't come up with anything.
Now.
Sorry?
Is my volume good?
No, you were all scratchy and echoey and.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Oof. I don't know what's happening there. Crap. Well, maybe she can send us something in the chat if she wants to send. Sorry, Ash.
Sorry, Ashley.
But yeah, there was a couple of actors and actresses that I thought ended up kind of getting a little bit overlooked in a couple of the categories, particularly when it came to Best Actress. So one of them being Danielle Deadwyler from Till. The film itself also seemed to get overlooked in the Oscars in general, and I mean it's a tough film to watch. Of course, the murder of Emmett Till was horrible, and so it's not something that a lot of people want to watch for that matter. But she was fantastic. So I'm really sorry that she didn't get some recognition there. And considering again that Michelle Williams was nominated as a best lead, I felt that she was kind of that she didn't really quite belong on that list. And another one that we thought for best lead actress was Aubrey Plaza for Emily the Criminal, because she was just awesome.
I mean, the movie itself was okay. It didn't get any nominations for anything. It was a decent little crime.
I really enjoyed it.
Drama, but I think her portrayal of Emily and Emily the Criminal was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
indeed. We didn't have any snubs in Best Actor.
I feel like our Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor categories, and also a Best Supporting Actress in the end, I think
were pretty on. I mean, if I gave it some thought, I'm sure I could come up with something, but I don't want to sit here with dead air while my hamster kicks into gear.
Yeah.
I think the only one that this would be like another category of people playing themselves. Because you could talk about like Nick Cage in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Okay. Yes.
I thought he did a fantastic.
And Pedro Pascal for a supporting actor there. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that was.
Do you really deserve an award for being yourself? Like,
I think sometimes you do as an actor, because a lot of the times, like Nicolas Cage is obviously in this as a poke at himself.
Yes.
And for an actor to allow themselves to be skewered in a movie and then play that character, I think that takes something.
And play the range of those characters too. Like, I mean, he basically managed to like
range.
Well, I mean, hey, Leaving Las Vegas and Wild at Heart, not the same dude.
No, that's fair. I'll give you that.
So I think he managed to capture that quite well from the more serious Nick Cage that we see in things like Pig and Leaving Las Vegas, to the absolute cartoon of a human being that we see in things like come on, what's the one with John Travolta? Help me, Tyler.
Oh, Face Off.
Face Off.
And that we see in Face Off and things like Wild at Heart. So, but Pedro Pascal was hilarious
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, sure, we could certainly talk about it. I think though, in the end, really our biggest set of snubs comes from best director.
Best director. I mean, from best
Sarah Polley.
cinematography, we thought that Banshees could have gotten a nod.
For which?
Best cinematography.
Oh, yes. Yes, I agree for that. Yes.
Just as I'm going through the list, I mean, it's vistas, it's locale, it's the use of like the grays, greens, and everything of like the Irish countryside, stuff like that. I mean, that movie drew you in with its scale, scope, and how, as you said, how things were placed on screen.
Mhm.
Like putting the little house in the far right corner of the screen and having Colin Farrell walk the entire length of it while we looked at the vista in the background behind it. Like these are all like moments where you just like you sit in awe of what's happening on screen and stuff like that. So I would put it in there.
Yeah,
We
agreed.
did have a snub in best original song
We did.
because we thought Ciao Papa from Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, music and lyrics by Alexandra Desplat.
Yeah.
Should have been in there. That's an amazing song.
Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't necessarily take out one of the other songs.
No.
It's just we
But
feel that
then
one.
Then again, many of the other songs were not didn't resonate with us in any
No.
way, shape, or form. I wouldn't take out the Rihanna song because definitely from Wakanda Forever because that has been massively popular because it's Rihanna.
Well, it's also one of it.
But that's what I don't necessarily think that because something is popular that necessarily deserves an Oscar. But
No, and it's nowhere in no of these other songs
Mhm.
were played, I feel, so much at a moment in a movie where the scene and everything going on at the same time that like stood out. Like the moment that Ciao Papa was playing, it's this like montage of this coming of age story and everything else. Like the song fit the mood, fit the scene, everything else. A song like Hold My Hand, which appeared in Top Gun Maverick,
Mhm.
it was just in the movie.
Yeah, I don't even.
There wasn't like a scene associated with it that I remember.
Yeah.
Like it didn't, but of course, Not To had the dance, had everything else with it. Like it's a scene, like that's why we gave it the award. And for Ciao Papa, which I feel was a snub, it was the same thing. There was an emotion between what I was seeing and what I was hearing that connected together.
Yeah.
So that's why we thought that was a snub.
Yeah.
Best international movie, of course, RRR. I mean, how did
Why
this movie not get any recognition
Why
whatsoever
Come on.
during these?
That was like one of the most interesting pieces of cinematic work that I have ever seen.
And you would think that the Academy would take this opportunity to pat itself on the back and be like, look, we nominated a Bollywood movie. How great are we?
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
I mean, I also have Decision to Leave in there.
So, and that one, I have to. So, I watched that film, and some of the direction in that is incredible, but the story gets a little convoluted and confusing. So I kind of understand why it didn't get nominated in that category in the end, kind of thing. But it was really nicely done, and again, like some of the scene switching and things like that was just super clever. So I can see that it might have been on the short list and then gotten knocked off.
Yeah,
but I don't know, of course.
Again, best animated feature. Not that I would have taken anything out.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that Apollo 10.5, A Space Age Childhood, and The Amazing Maurice were
The Amazing Maurice is so good.
Could have been very strong contenders for that category.
Yeah. Have either of you seen The Amazing Maurice? It's based on a Terry Pratchett book, and it's so much fun. Voiced by Hugh Laurie Hugh Laurie is Maurice, and
the cat.
It's so good.
We'll say.
Good. Yeah, basically, it's a story of a shyster cat, and and his friendship with rats, and it was wonderful.
I believe Apollo 10.5 may have taken itself out of the running because it's from Richard Linklater, who did Boyhood and A Scanner Darkly and stuff like that.
Okay.
It is technically just rotoscoping basically animated over human actors.
Oh,
It's
oh,
not
that's
necessarily a
okay.
animation from the ground up.
Okay.
Like it's more mocap than anything
Mhm,
else. So it's putting
mhm.
cell shading on top of basically motion cap actors.
Right.
So if anybody's seen A Scanner Darkly with Keanu Reeves, stuff like that, you'll
So
know what
good.
I'm
So
talking about.
good.
It's basically just animating yourself,
Yeah.
but you're the one there doing the actions, doing the acting, the dialogue, and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still a really powerful story about uh, narrated basically by Jack Black about a boy um, striving, like dreaming of being an astronaut around the Apollo 10 era, stuff like that.
Very
Really,
cool.
really strong. Again, Turning Red, The Sea Beast, Puss in Boots. I didn't see, but it's on here.
Honestly, Puss in Boots. I tried watching Puss in Boots, and I wanted to turn it off in 5 minutes. But yeah, see, Erin is shaking her head. She knows what I'm talking about.
Sea Beast, lots of fun. Turning Red, we watched that earlier this year and gave it rave reviews when we did a review on it on the podcast. An exceptional story about the belonging and the being different in culture and everything else. Great story. Marcel the Shell, fantastic movie. And of course, our winner, Del Toro's Pinocchio, which I will get to in a minute because also shows up somewhere else. Best Picture, I thought Pinocchio could have appeared in there too.
Could have.
And RRR was our two snubs of Best Picture.
I was going to ask about whether or not you thought that it should have been one of the dark horses, because I was hoping it would have been.
Yeah, I considering I have absolutely no love for the Avatar films, and I think
Even
that they
Top
are
Gun.
technological achievements and absolutely deserve recognition in those ways. But as Best Picture, fuck that. No, the story is not original. It's not even that particularly great. So why was that in there? And I
Because
don't.
James Cameron's good at campaigning.
Yeah. And
Oh
see,
yeah, we're having that conversation on our next episode.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know, but
it's fine. It's a good intro into the fact that we don't like how the Oscars, the nominees, and everything are chosen.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's all campaign. It's how much money you're willing to throw at the Academy, your movie, and everything else just to get it noticed. And that's not picking the best of something. That's force feeding yourself onto a bunch of fucking old aristocrat assholes that
White.
yeah.
I questioned a couple things. One was Top Gun. I mean, I loved it. I had fun, but I don't know that I would put it up there with some of the other ones. But also having 10 nominees seems like
We
a
don't
lot.
mind the 10 nominees, but we feel that some of the other categories need to step up then as well. Like, how do you have 10 best pictures, but only 5 best directors? If you have 10 best pictures, obviously the directors, the actors, somebody, the screenplays of all those movies should also get some equal representation elsewhere as well.
They upped to the number of nominees to 10 some years ago now. I can't
so
remember.
They could add blockbuster summer movies into
exactly, because there was this general complaint that popular movies were not getting included into Oscar Best Picture considerations. So things like Lord of the Rings, and certainly in some cases that a popular movie should absolutely be included there. But in some cases, in some cases, I don't really understand why that particular film was chosen. Top Gun Maverick was super popular, and everyone that I know that watched it, if you were a Top Gun fan, you liked it. Like it was, but it's movie pablum to me. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing particularly creative, but it's easily digestible.
Well, if you look at Avatar and if you look at Top Gun Maverick,
yeah,
where are they anywhere else on these lists?
They might be.
Yeah, and technical achievements, all great. No acting nods, no directing nods, no screenplay nods, no anything else. Like so.
And I think that's what struck me about Top Gun is that it doesn't really show up anywhere else. And again, I loved it. To me, it was fun because original Top Gun was my jam back then. But there's a lot of tropes in it, and to me it got a little silly at one point. And
are you talking about when they found an F-14 on a quote unquote Russian airbase?
don't know
We
how-
need to bring this back to 1985. Let's throw a defunct plane on a runway so Tom Cruise can fly it 30 years later. Okay.
So yeah, no, I completely.
I laughed out loud in a movie theater as soon as they saw that.
Yeah.
And I mean, they foreshadowed it earlier because they did like an aerial satellite view of it, and you saw two of them sitting on the runway, and you're like, okay. But
Yeah. Well, the
biggest snubs is you're about to get to, I'm guessing.
I was actually just going to refer to oh damn it, I just lost my brain. Oh shoot, Erin left because I wanted her to be a part of the director conversation. But the other one I sort of wanted to mention, a film that we have had a lot of discussions about, is The Fabelmans, because we really feel that was a particularly indulgent film that seems to be getting a lot more credit than I really feel like it should be getting. It's a good film. It really is. But it's Steven.
Yeah, but good films shouldn't make the Academy Awards.
And
great films should.
It's Steven Spielberg's biography about himself. I'm like, oh really, dude? You come on. I'm not really thrilled about that. I don't feel like I do. I think the story would have needed to be told at some point in time. But maybe like 20 years from now?
Yeah, maybe not while you're still out there making movies and still part of like the pop culture conversations on like a daily basis and everything.
Yeah. You know, I think that perhaps, and I wouldn't even say that his golden age is done. Like, yeah, I think his biggest stuff would have been in the 80s, perhaps, but, or maybe even into the 90s. But still, I think he's still incredibly relevant, and that he decided to make a biopic about himself. I realize that the part of the reason is because now both of his parents have passed, but
yeah, I mean, the story of The Fabelmans was him telling the story about his parents more than anything else.
Yeah,
and it's a nice goodbye to both your parents if you want to do it.
Yeah,
but sometimes I feel that style of just lighthearted drama maybe doesn't put you in the picture for best director.
Yeah,
like that's putting a camera down in front of a bunch of amazing actors and actresses and letting them do their thing.
Yeah,
like there was nothing in The Fabelmans. There was no in particular scene or swoop of a camera or like anything that made me go, wow, that was an amazing moment or scene. Or
the dance scene with Michelle Williams in the in the headlights. I think that was really beautifully done.
Yeah, that's more cinematography though.
Yes. In the end, though, I mean, this brings us to the director conversation, which is really the big one with the snubs. Honestly, there was I don't think Steven Spielberg should have been nominated in Best Director here at all, and I think it's an absolute fucking travesty that Sarah Polley was not nominated for Women Talking, because that is an absolutely stellar film. Do I think that it needed to win Best Picture? No, but there's a reason that we put it in the Best Ensemble Cast, because it is just this incredible interaction. We don't know enough about source material to have done the adapted screenplay category, but my guess is that it should absolutely be the winner for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that we wanted to talk about, but we didn't feel it was in our rights to, because unless you've read the source material, how do you know if a film or screenplay was adapted well?
Yeah, in this case, I'm going on the basis of the fact that that Miriam Toews, who wrote the book, was a person who was a member of the Mennonite community and of the core community from which the sort of this breakoff group that moved to Bolivia was from. So she, of course, had a very intimate knowledge of what had happened during those events. And I think from everything that I have read, the events that occurred there were very accurately depicted in the film. So I absolutely think that Polley should have won for how she managed to get the cast members of that to be able to evoke all of the emotions that would have been being experienced by this community. It was just brilliantly done. And from what I understand, Ren feels the same in that. She's laughing. She's like, I don't know if I want to talk right now.
No, because I can't say it any better than you just did, but absolutely. Like, I've not seen The Fabelman, so I can't equivocally say that it shouldn't have been in there, but I have seen women talking, and like you said, it was just spectacular. It was just, yeah, it was a slap in the face that she didn't get nominated.
Yeah. I mean, and it's, even though it's a story about a Mennonite community, it is also a story that is also reminiscent for how women in general experience life in the society that we live in. And there was an awful lot of parallels in there that were incredibly deeply striking. So yeah, it was. I think it's an absolute shame that she didn't get nominated there.
Yeah, this is less about taking something out to put something in. This is more about if we're going to have 10 best pictures.
Yeah, we could.
Then 10 best directors, 10 best original screenplays or adapted screenplays or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, acting, maybe you don't need 10 in there because acting can be split up, men, women, supporting, ensemble, whatever. But if you have a best picture, there needs to be a lot more that goes into it than just being a best picture. Like we said, we talked about Top Gun, we talked about Avatar. No other nominations in directing, acting nods, or anything else. I think Top Gun possibly got an adapted screenplay nomination, which we didn't tackle, but it could have been in there. And so maybe increase the amount of directors if you're going to increase the amount of movies. Because another one of our snubs, of course, is SS Rajamouli for RRR. I mean, that was a spectacle. And what he did with the direction, the special effects, the lighting, again, this comes down to half cinematography, half choreography, or not half, because now my math is fucked up. Comes to a whole bunch of parts: cinematography, stunt work.
But he's the one that makes.
But he's the one directing this all. Like, he's the one that's making this.
Right? Like, he's the one that gets to, I mean, I guess ultimately the production company has way too much to do with that. We've had those conversations too. But certainly, like, the process of the film is largely decided by him. So it's, it's got the whole, there's so many stories that are happening in that film, and it's just so much fun to watch. I do think he should have gotten a nod. I absolutely think that film got far less attention than it deserved.
Yeah, and he also wrote it, so even a nod for screenplay would have been. And
considering that so many of these best picture category, like the best picture choices, were based on popularity, and considering how popular that film was on Netflix, it really should have been in there. Like, I think it should have definitely beat out a couple of the other things that were on there instead.
Even if, though, you take your idea, which I agree with 100%, that 10 directors, 10 best pictures, even if you took that out, both Sarah Polley and the RRR director should have been in there before James Cameron, before Steven Spielberg. Like,
yeah.
I agree.
Now, the only one I don't think that should have been in there and is Spielberg currently in the director category.
Yeah, no,
but all of these other ones that we're mentioning and about to mention should have been in, but not as replacements, as let's increase this category.
Yeah.
Not to say that I want to see James Cameron as a best director just because Avatar, as Aaron, you were alluding to, just because Avatar got a best picture nod. But it's a tough call, because do all 10 directors have to, if they do increase it to 10, have to match the best pictures?
Yeah, but how does the best picture happen without that director?
Oh, I know. But that would mean that best directors this year, if we increased it to 10, would have included James Cameron for Avatar, would have included Baz Luhrmann for Elvis, which could have been fine.
That I would have been okay.
Would have included, I think it's McQuarrie. Or, no, I can't remember. No, that's his Mission Impossible guy. Whoever did Top Gun Maverick. Now, I'm not saying that the director of Top Gun Maverick maybe shouldn't have gotten a nod himself, because that was a feat. I mean, the aviation scenes and everything else, like, it was a really fun movie to watch.
The person that should get nominated for that is Tom Cruise, because of course he was the one that pretty much came up with the concepts and did like all of his own stunts.
Also, that one would have been hard to, because a lot of the direction itself came from the actors and stuff, because they were in cockpits by themselves. I mean, with the pilots that were actually flying the planes, but they were the ones running the cameras and doing the stuff themselves, because of course they're up in real planes and you can't have a director up there with you.
Yeah.
But anyway, due to we have 4 definite snubs, we're going to talk
Yeah.
about 2 more in a minute,
There was,
of the best director, something needs to happen.
yeah.
And
I mean,
again, it's hard to take anybody else out.
Mm.
Can't take out the Daniels. We gave them
Mm-mm.
the award.
Yeah.
Can't take out Martin. Banshees was a fabulous movie.
Mm.
Can't take out Todd Fields. Tar was a great movie. Can't take out Ruben for Triangles of Sadness either.
No, that was a really well done film. I support that one being in there. I would, Tar. I don't know. Like, it's a good film. Do I think that it deserves like
Like,
best?
did the direction
Sure.
of it make that movie kind of thing?
I think really the story that was being told was the thing there, and so I don't know that it necessarily that it should be on that particular list. I far prefer the other snubs that were on there. So I think that After Sun, that Charlotte Wells should have absolutely gotten a nomination. There we go. That's the word.
That's the
A
word.
nomination for Best Director. I was like, notification? No, that's not it. I think that she absolutely deserved it. I think that film was really, really well composed. Like it was. I really liked the way that story was told, and Chinanya Chukwu for Till. I think that she took, the actual story behind Till's mother trying to get justice for her son's murder, and she was able to actually emulate some of the actual photographs from the news directly on film. Like, it was absolutely striking, and the performance that she got out of Daniela Deadweiler was stunning. So yeah, I think that it's really sad that we had a really big lack of an entire lack of female directors in this category.
Yeah, that was the
stellar films from women this year.
That was the biggest take from this.
Yeah,
was the lack of any true, real diversity, like a larger amount of diversity in the directors category.
Yeah, that was definitely that's a big problem in there.
If you can expand the Best Picture category just to put in popcorn movies like Avatar and Top Gun Maverick and whatnot, but you can't expand a directors category to include very most deserving directors and add some diversity to that. I mean, again, they expanded the Best Picture, quote unquote, for diversity, but they don't expand any of the other categories for the exact same reason.
Yeah, it's a problem.
So it's problematic. The Academy, we know, we've talked about it before, changes are coming.
Yeah, and they're in process, and of
they
course
said it wasn't going to be until like 2028 until like the whole system kind of resets and all the changes take effect. We'll see what happens between now and then, but we feel that really in the Best Director category this year, there was some glaring issues and omissions.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, we're not going to go high horse here and get all into the politics of it all. We'll save that for another true episode where we take down the Oscars in our Oscar Aftermath episode next week after we see who wins and loses, because we're going to have some shit to say. So we'd like to thank Dana, who's still here, for coming on and helping give away some of the awards. And we'd like to thank Ren, who got booted and thanks us for letting her come on. And Ashley, sadly, who had some technical issues, but we thank her for coming on and
thank you guys too. It was fun.
And hopefully we'll have you on again at some point in the near future when we want to have chats with stuff.
Love to. Yep.
Well, coming up on April 2nd, everybody remember, it's our 100th episode.
Craziness.
And if people want to come on and talk about the past 99 episodes and the shit we've talked about.
Please don't talk about all of them. Oh my God.
And do some reminiscing and some remembering and some discussing about all the things that we've talked about, stuff like that. Well, we're going to have a bunch of guests on then too. So if you feel like coming on to that, let us know. This is it. This is our predictions. This is our picks. This is our Oscars. Yes, I did it.
The Oscars.
I did a bunch of pee.
for every category that we chose from the actual Oscars, so there's 11 there, that we get wrong, we will donate $20 to a charity. Do we have a charity of choice that we want to name right now, or do we want to think about that?
If I had my choice, because we haven't done anything with, and because it's a category that we want to add to the Oscars, I would like to give it to something like the Freedom Dog Rescue.
Okay.
Because we've raised money in the past for mental health. We've raised it for cancer. We've raised it for some other stuff. We haven't done any animal fundraising as of yet.
We both love the furry things.
And we both love the furry.
Sure. Sounds good.
Did you just say we love the furries?
The furry things. I did not see the furries. That's a whole.
I was really hoping that you just ended it at furries, and
I mean, they're fine. It's all adult consent, whatever.
So, however many we get wrong, I'm going to go possibly one step further, and I have a prediction sheet around here somewhere. I'm going to fill mine out for a couple of other categories.
Okay.
That I feel that I might have some knowledge in, like effects, stuff like that. And if I get those wrong, I will post it showing which ones I did indeed get wrong, and I'll throw my extra $10 in for some of those as well.
Send them my way, and I'll do the same.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 20 something categories, so we both could be given like a lot of money.
That's fine.
But we're good with that.
All right. Again, thank you, Dana. Thank you to everyone who tuned into the stream. And if you have comments about things that you think were snubbed, or predictions that you have that are different from what we have said, please feel free to comment on the video. We'd love to hear from you.
And don't forget to like and subscribe and click the little bell, which is somewhere on this screen or under this screen, to get notifications of whenever we post a new episode, a new stream, a new whatever, because we're mainly a podcast. Now we're a YouTube channel. Yay. That's it. That's all. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and for joining us. Enjoy the Oscars tomorrow night. No. Enjoy the Oscars tomorrow night. We're the Oscars. And we hope those who you want to win.
Yes, indeed.
And that better be Everything Everywhere All at Once.